I've come to believe that weight is the most overlooked factor when shopping for an electric bike. I see in the comment sections of videos all the time people recommending dual battery, dual motor, really heavy e-bikes. Heck, sometimes those e-bikes weigh more than both of my children combined. And while riders like myself can manage riding those e-bikes and transporting them, the fact of the matter is there's a lot of riders out there that can't. So if you're looking for a lightweight e-bike that's easy on your wallet and isn't gonna weigh you down, this list of 7 lightweight e-bikes is for you. So let's talk about the criteria that all of the e-bikes on today's list will fit in. First criteria, and probably the most important, is gonna be all of these bikes are gonna come in below 55 pounds. Now, to some of you out there, that may still sound like a lot, but just to put in context, your average bike from a big box store such as Walmart, average weighing between 25 and 40 pounds. And one thing I wanna mention about those weights, I am physically weighing every e-bike before it comes onto this list. So all of the weights that you're seeing here are from us actually weighing them. We're not trusting any website for any of our information today. Next up, all of these e-bikes are gonna be ones that we have actually ridden and have full reviews for. So if maybe I'm not giving you all the information you want, or you wanna do a little bit more research before you purchase a bike, which I highly recommend, feel free to click the playlist that I'll put link up in the corner now, and you will find all of these bikes linked there. Next up, we have to talk about battery safety. All of the e-bikes on today's list meet a minimum of being certified to UL 2271, which means that all of the batteries on these e-bikes have been checked and rated. And along with them all being safety certified, all of these e-bikes on today's list are also gonna be from trusted and established brands, which means 1, they're gonna be here for a long period of time, and 2, they're providing you with a complete e-bike. That means they're gonna have things like hydraulic disc brakes, color LCD displays, and sometimes even dealer networks. And lastly, all of the e-bikes on today's list are gonna come in under $2,000. Hey everyone, I am JT from Ebike Escape, and before we get into any of these lightweight e-bikes you see behind me, why should you listen to our list and what sets us out apart? Well, this list was not compiled by just me, this was compiled by everybody here at Ebike Escape, and the experience we have for coming up with this list, that we have been reviewing e-bikes for 6+ years, and over that time we've ridden everything from 150-pound beasts of e-bikes all the way down to some very lightweight carbon fiber e-bikes, which you might see on today's list. Now, if you do find after watching this video that any of these e-bikes are the ones that you've been looking for, if you make a purchase after clicking any of the links down below, there's a free and easy way to show support to us here at Ebike Escape. Thank you guys for whichever way you show support. Now, with all of those formalities out of the way, why does the weight of an e-bike matter? Well, the lighter the e-bike, the smaller the battery and the smaller the motor you're actually gonna need to get going. The heavier the e-bike, simply put, the more power it's gonna use to get up and moving. And when you're not moving at some of those higher speeds, they are a little bit harder to maneuver, and really storage of a heavier e-bike is just a bit harder to manage. Not to mention, something that I have found is my favorite thing to do with an e-bike is to take it traveling with me. The transportation of a heavier e-bike is simply more clunky and puts a lot more strain on your back, not to mention the requirement of a much heavier duty rack. So many of the lightweight e-bikes you see here behind me can be transported on lighter duty racks, or maybe even folded up and put in the back of your car. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's jump into our first e-bike, which is not only the lightest e-bike here, but probably also the brightest. All right, here we are starting our list out with a bang. We have a carbon fiber folding e-bike. This is from Urtopia. This is the Fold 1, which tips our scales at a mere 34.5 pounds with the battery and 29.5 pounds without the battery. The battery is located in the seat tube, so you do have to remove the seat to get the battery out. Simply unplugs at the bottom and slides right out like a normal seat tube would. Now, this e-bike, along with it being carbon fiber and having some really nice color options, it does pack quite a few other nice features. It's got Tektro hydraulic disc brakes, an 8-speed Shimano drivetrain, color LCD display. It sports lights both front and rear, has fenders. It really is a full-featured e-bike. Now, some things to consider before you purchase. This bike does have a weight capacity of 220 pounds, which may be a bit low for some riders. It sports a slightly smaller motor than some other e-bikes on our list, as well as a slightly smaller battery. So who is the Urtopia Fold 1 for? It's definitely going to be for maybe those last mile commuters where somebody just has to make those little short commutes, maybe in and out of a city to their car, or maybe taking a train or a bus in and out, or needs a small form factor, small lightweight form factor to transport around. This is the bike for you. Now, Urtopia calls themselves the carbon fiber expert, and that is going to be because they only offer carbon fiber e-bikes. That means every single one of their e-bikes that they offer could really have made our list for lightweight e-bikes, as they all pretty much come in under 55 pounds once you remove that battery. That includes their all-wheel drive model, which has a motor both front and rear, but the price of that bike does come in quite a bit higher, as you could imagine. Now the next e-bike or e-bikes to grace our list are going to be from Velotric. They have 2 e-bikes that meet our weight cap. Over here on the left, we have the Velotric T1 ST, and on my right, we have the Breeze. We'll go through each one of these independently, starting with the T1 ST. The T1 ST, when it does not have a battery, comes in at 39 pounds. Now, the battery is not easily removable. It is in the tube. So the weight that I'm showing on the screen now is with the battery installed. It comes in at 44 pounds, which is still very impressive. You will notice that this bike has a much more traditional bike frame layout. It does only come in this high step option here, or really bike with a top tube. Whereas the Breeze here, you'll see, does have this nice step through, but again, we'll get to that. The T1 ST is also offered from Velotric for $12.99, which was on sale at the time of filming. Remember, click the link down below if you're trying to purchase any of the e-bikes on our list today. The T1 ST also sports a 350 watt motor and a 10 amp hour battery. And for a heavier weight e-bike, that wouldn't be that impressive, but on a lightweight e-bike like this bike is completely capable of speeds up into class 3, meaning that it can reach 28 miles per hour if you're pedaling. And because of that torque sensor, that 10 amp hour battery is gonna last you a bit longer than you would expect from a heavier e-bike as well. Some other standout features of the T1 ST are gonna be the 8-speed Shimano drivetrain, Tektro hydraulic disc brakes, inclusion of a bell, a headlight on the front, as well as a very nice color LCD display. It's a little small and on the left-hand side, but Velotric has thought of that, and they have some really nice app connectivity. You can actually use Apple Find My or even Apple Health with their bikes. That is something you will find both on the Velotric T1 ST as well as the Velotric Breeze. So what are some of the drawbacks of this bike? Well, first one is going to be that you do only get the inclusion of a torque sensor, and there is not a throttle. So what does that mean? You're going to be doing a lot more pedaling on the T1 ST versus other e-bikes on the list, as well as you do have only this nice high step tube. So meaning that if you do need a step through, be sure to look at bikes like the Breeze. Probably a great time to transition over to the Velotric Breeze. Now, if you are in the market for a step through frame, that is where Velotric has the Breeze offering for you. And it still meets that lightweight option. Even included with the battery, it weighs about 50 pounds. And if you take that battery out, that weight drops considerably, as your average battery weighs between 5 and 10 pounds. You get a 750 watt motor as well as a 13.4 amp hour battery. You also get the ability to switch between a cadence and torque sensor and the inclusion of a throttle over here on the left. You still get the really nice Shimano drivetrain and Tektro hydraulic disc brakes, and the display in the middle is also a bit bigger. Included a front headlight, you also get rear taillights along with blinkers. Now, a little bit more of a full-featured e-bike, but you are, of course, paying for those amenities in cost as well as weight. So some of the drawbacks of the Breeze mostly are going to be that you're getting a little bit higher weight as well as a little bit higher of a cost. Not everyone is a big fan of the color options. One other nice thing that we have seen from Velotric with that app connectivity and display is that they have actually updated some of their e-bikes since release, which is very nice because they can add things such as taillight functionality where you get it flashing, as well as they can change the overall motor's riding capacity and kind of how the bike rides. They can kind of tune it as they go. Maybe they find something they don't like, which we have seen from some of their other models. So while app connectivity is not for everyone, it is nice to see there. Bit of a negative that you do have to have app connectivity to do that. The other drawback for me is going to be that this bike does not sport fenders or a rear rack for that cost. You can purchase those extra, again, going to increase that overall weight. Next on our list, we have a bike gracing our list from the best bang for your buck brand. That is what we call them here. That's going to be from Ride1Up with their Roadster V3. That's right, this is on the 3rd version of this bike. Now, the Roadster V3 came across our scales with a very impressive 39 pounds. Now, that is, again, without the battery. Now, if you go over to Ride1Up's website, you will notice there are quite a few options. There's a couple different color variations, a couple different frame sizes, as well as multiple drivetrain options. You can get the chain drive version like you see here that has a shiftable drivetrain, or you could get a single speed belt drive version. Now, if you live in a hillier area like us, you are going to want to pick up the version with the chain drive, because trying to pedal a single speed belt drive up a hill is quite difficult. Ask me how I know. Now, the Roadster V3 here does have a very traditional bike frame with a high top tube. This is going to be a great bike for somebody coming from a cycling background and wants some very nice styling here. Ride1Up has these very nice gum sidewall tires from Schwalbe. Very nice, have a little bit of more aggressive tread here. You do also get a throttle. It is built into the bottom of the display. You get the inclusion of a front headlight, very bright headlight, a nice bell. Tetra-hydraulic disc brakes. Now, Ride1Up is a brand for us that is known for doing some very nice styling cues on their bikes. As you can see on this bike, it kind of nice, catches your eye. They have these really nice gum sidewall tires, which help accent the frame. Very minimal lettering for their bike. The headlight is integrated nicely into the front of the stem. You get the wires that disappear nicely into the head tube. And the rear taillight is actually hidden back here on the fender. Now, some of the drawbacks of the Roadster V3, number one is going to be you have this really small display over here. It's not as large and robust as we've seen on other bikes. Also, do not have any app connectivity with this bike. That can be a plus or minus to many. So if you're the type of rider that really likes the sleek design, doesn't mind this little bit smaller display, and doesn't need a step-through frame, then the Roadster V3 should definitely be considered. And one other bike to just kind of put in there, maybe as an honorable mention, it's going to be Ride1Up offers a CF Racer, which is their carbon fiber road bike, or they also offer it in a gravel version. That bike does have a lower weight capacity, like we've seen for some of the other carbon frames, as well as it comes in at a little bit higher of a price tag. Didn't meet our $2,000 cutoff. Next up on our list, we have an electric bike that no one is going to be surprised to see on here, as light is in the name. This is the Lectric XP Lite 2.0. This bike tipped our scales at a mere 42 pounds without the battery, and went up to 47 pounds with the battery. Now, this is the small battery option, meaning it is the 7 amp hour battery version, but there's also a long range version option, which has a 14 amp hour battery. Of course, the weight is going to increase with that, as well as the cost. The biggest thing about the XP Lite is that this bike is offered from Lectric for $799. Now, if you choose to upgrade this bike to, say, the bigger battery option or switch over to the belt drive, there's a little bit of incurred cost with that, but the weight stays roughly the same. 14 amp hour battery is going to be a bit bigger, so you are going to get a little bit more weight from that. One of the other things that I really do like about the XP Lite is going to be that Lectric chose to stick with a 48 volt system instead of going down to a 36 volt system. What that means is that you get a little bit extra power on tap for that rear motor. So it really provides a little bit extra punch, just feels a bit zippier. The XP Lite impresses me every time I ride it, even though it is a single speed. Now, on the 2.0 version of this bike, you got upgraded to hydraulic disc brakes, as well as a color LCD display. And Lectric has also outfitted this bike with their PWR system, and it just overall feels more natural to ride this bike. And the last and biggest standout feature of any electric e-bike is going to be their customer service that is based in the US. Don't take our word for it. Please go check out any Facebook group before you make a purchase. You'll find hundreds of posts in there about people telling you how wonderful their customer service is, how easy they are to work with. Now, what are some things you need to be aware of before you purchase an XP Lite? Well, they're all kind of right in front of you. The first one's going to be the single speed drivetrain. If you have hills or anything like that, this motor does provide more punch, but you are probably going to want a bike with a drivetrain to be able to pedal up those hills. Second one is going to be the battery. It is located inside the frame. That's going to be mostly for security. Nobody can steal your battery, but it can just be a bit more cumbersome to get out as you have to fold the bike in half to get to it. Next one is going to be the styling of the bike. Not everyone is a big fan of the styling of the electric e-bikes, as either their XP3 or the XP Lite here. They've grown on me over time. I am super happy that on the 2.0 version, they offered more colorways. This purple you see here is really nice. Now, one other honorable mention from Lectric, if you don't need the folding functionality and you're not a big fan of this design, you want to go with more of a traditional bike design, Lectric offers the Lectric Express model. Now, they have the Lectric Express 500 and 750, and that's going to be in the motor size. You get either 500 watt or 750 watt. It's a multitude of different battery sizes in there as well. But the biggest takeaway is that that bike without battery still comes in weighing about 50 pounds. And if you add the battery, it goes over that 55-pound limit. But if you're just looking for another bike from Lectric that still hits a lot of the criteria on our list, Lectric Express is definitely worth taking a look at. Next up, we have another well-recognized brand with an entry into our lightweight list from Aventon. This is their Soltera model. This model tipped our scales at a mere 40.8 pounds without the battery and 45.6 pounds with the battery. This bike is also offered for $999, which is a great price for a lightweight e-bike. Now, one thing that we have come to expect from Aventon here at E-Bike Escape is going to be that any bike they offer is going to have very nice welds, as well as some very good color options. And the Soltera does just that. It's got quite a few nice colors, and the welds simply disappear into the frame. Now, the Soltera is also offered in 2 frame options. This is the large, which is probably a bit too big for me, being a 5'8" rider with about a 29-inch inseam. But it is nice that they offer this in a regular, which is a slightly smaller frame, which is what I would recommend to anybody around my stature. You get a throttle, you get nice grips, you get Tetra-hydraulic disc brakes. This is the first bike entrance on our list, though, with a 7-speed twist grip shifter versus your traditional thumb drive drive, but it is still a 7-speed Shimano drivetrain. And the Aventon's light package is pretty much on par with the top of the list, as you get a headlight both front and rear, as well as blinkers. Now, one thing that sets the Aventon a little bit apart is going to be their display. So this is the Aventon display, which we've come and known to love. It's very simple color LCD display in the middle, but you do get some app connectivity, which we have seen on all of their models. But the nice thing about it is they're starting to lean into it a bit more, and they're allowing you to kind of tune and adjust your riding profiles so you can really make the bike ride how you want. One thing that I think limits the Soltera is they only offer the high step. So what that means is that if you're somebody that has trouble getting your leg up and over a traditional bike frame and need a step through, the Soltera is probably not going to be the best one for you. However, Aventon does offer another bike in their lineup which really fits. It's going to be their Pace model. Now it comes in a little bit higher cost, but tips the scales at about 50 pounds, and you get an upgraded motor size, things like that we've come to see with that increased price, as well as that weight going up a little bit as well. Now, one thing I almost forgot to mention about Aventon that really sets them apart from any of the other manufacturers on our list is going to be that they have a very robust dealer network. What that means is go to their website, check out their dealer locator, and you might be able to find a store near you that has the Aventon models in stock, and that would allow you to go in and maybe actually test sit or test lift one of these e-bike models before you purchase. And that also means that you have a place to go if you need post-purchase support for, say, anything that could possibly go wrong, or you need your derailleur adjusted. They're definitely going to be a shop that's going to be able to help you. Now here we have the last entry onto our lightweight e-bike list. That's going to be from Euphree with their Solar Sparrow. This e-bike tipped our scales at 54.1 pounds without the battery and 60.8 pounds with the battery. It is offered for $18.99, and for that price you get some very cool features and really some cool components that we haven't seen from a lot of the other e-bikes on our list, and staying in underneath our two main caps. Now, some of those components and features that you get, first one's going to be metal fenders. An included rear rack with MIC compatibility means you get quick attach on and off rear accessories. Quite a few of those offered from our shop.ebikescape.com store. Be sure to check that out if you're looking for any accessories for any of the bikes on our list. And then the other ones are going to be right in front of you. First one's going to be, you have this rubber bellow up here in the front, which is going to be a 30mm travel front fork, or front suspension rather, which adds travel to the fork. And then the other one is going to be right here in the rear, which is going to be the Suntour NCX suspension rear seat post, something that we haven't seen really suspension on any of the e-bikes on our list. We call the suspension rear seat post a game changer accessory because once you've ridden with one, it's really hard to ride without one. Now, outside of those features, the Solar Sparrow sports everything that we come to expect from all the other e-bikes on our list: texture hydraulic disc brakes, thumb throttle on the left, color LCD display with a lot of functionality built into it. You get a nice bell and ergonomic grips. The light package on the bike, you get the really nice front headlight as well as rear taillight on the back of the rear rack. Now, I know we talked about some of the other models on our list being offered with the belt drive as an option. The Solar Sparrow only comes with a Gates carbon drive belt as its only drive chain option. Now, what that means is that this bike is going to be a single speed, meaning that you do not have any gears or anything like that. So you are going to be relying a bit more on the motor performance, as well as you're adjusting maybe up here in the display for where terrain you're going to be riding on. Now, one thing that has to be said about Euphree as a brand is that they are a small brand based in Texas, and they don't offer many e-bike models, but the models that they do offer, they sure pack them with features and functionality that you don't tend to see across a lot of other brands, even offering in general. But so this bike having that suspension and some of the other components really help this bike stand out. So what do you think of our lightweight e-bike list? Anything on the list that you think should or shouldn't be there? Or are you gonna be running off to purchase any of these e-bikes? Remember to be sure to click the link down in the description before you make a purchase. It's a free and easy way to support us here at E-Bike Escape. Helps us continue to make content just like this. Thank you guys so much in advance for any of the support. And be sure to leave the name of any e-bike that you think we should check out for next year's list down in the comments so we can be sure that we don't miss them. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Ride safe, everyone, and I'll catch you all in the next one.